Hey everybody.
Now I always want that song to just keep going. One
I
day we should
know.
just like play it out for people.
Oh,
Let them
I
bask in
just
the
got
magic.
I just got off an L1 call and I'm lit. Oh my God. I was real preachy on that one in like a
Isn't
good way.
isn't
I actually I want the recording of it. There was a part in there that I was like, wow, that sounded like biblical prophecy coming out of my mouth.
it's funny every once in a while I catch myself and like stuff will come out of my mouth. I was like, oh, I've never quite said it that way before. That sounds
Uh-huh.
good.
Same. Yeah, there's a new energy since the jungle
For sure.
coming out of me with this like real fucking directness and like clarity about like no more fucking around. You know, like how important your interpersonal healing work is. And hi everybody, by the way, Elon and I are just jumping in. But you know, catch up if you dare. Feel free to say hi in the chat box. And yeah, you know, we're fresh off the boat from Colombia, more or less a week out or so. I'm just starting to feel some ground in my system personally, which feels good to
It took
feel my
over a
body.
week, man.
Oh man, it was a landing. It's still
Yeah.
landing. Yeah, it's been
It
landing. I feel
wasn't
like
I can't say it was rough, but it wasn't like a rough landing. Like I've had like rough landings from like Luminous and stuff like that, but like it wasn't rough. It was just
a lot.
slow and
Yeah.
my body, like it was weird even playing tennis last week, like it felt like I was not fully in my body.
Mhm.
And I could just tell you, like, even this week playing tennis, last week playing tennis, I felt it was weird. It was like the sensation was like I was like floating right
Mhm.
outside of my body.
Mhm.
Nothing felt like here. And yeah, this week I definitely feel more here.
Awesome.
Yeah. You?
Um, I mean, rough would be a stronger word than probably what I was experiencing. Just challenging coming home, you know, like not enough downtime to like really integrate the experience and like right into kids and Halloween and family and events is like it's just too much for the system. Like what I could have used, what I still need is like, you know, 3 massages a day and like feeling my body again. So it was like it took a bit. You know, I had a really beautiful session with our teacher on Wednesday, and that helped me like settle down in my system. And like a big question came forward, and I had quite a big experience even on Wednesday as well
Hmm.
out of all that. But like you know, for the experience for me was very challenging down there, and then like but like sometimes I don't really consider how big those layers
Yeah.
are as I'm going through them because I'm so in like the thick of like how challenging the actual experience is.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I mean, like I'm grateful for the teaching as always, and I feel like it's going to be a bit of a ride to really get clear on what exactly happened in this experience and like how that's going to show up differently. But uh, like there's a lot of stuff that would normally make me feel a lot of fear, and I'm just sitting here and I'm like not really hitting those spots right now. That
Clean
feels
as a
really
whistle.
interesting. Huh?
Clean as a whistle.
Clean, yeah.
Yeah.
Clean.
Yeah. I this is a part of the jungle. Well, you were there for this, but Claire gave me this. Remember, she gave us the
Mm-hmm.
stones.
Mm-hmm.
So I actually like creatively turned it into a necklace, which I'm very
Mm.
excited by. I got different wire before, but then I got black wire, and I was like, oh, it looks really cool, black wire. So now I wear a piece of the jungle with me. Obviously, we got these two, but it feels good.
Jungly.
Yeah, I feel
So,
like it's interesting because this has like weight, and it like sits like right kind of like at the bottom of my heart. So
mm,
I feel like it's like a reminder in a way where it's like, ooh, I feel you. So
mm.
it helps me kind of like keep bringing it back. Um, Has anyone, just out of curiosity, from people that are here, has anyone ever done plant medicine? Anyone ever worked with either Aya or done psilocybin journeys or combo or any of those kind of things? Just always curious to see. It's funny, every time I talk to someone, they were like, you spoke about ayahuasca and like I just got tingles, like I want to come with you, blah blah blah. I was like, yeah, we definitely openly share it.
Heed the call.
Yeah,
Just for sure.
yeah.
Cool. So we can take the conversation anywhere as you please. The headline was around money and stuff like that, which I think is always an important conversation. So do you want to kick it
Is there
off?
anything that you want to share? I know you said the level 1 call was kind of powerful. Is there anything that you want to like bring through for that?
I'm in my like full general, like spiritual general, like call to arms mode these days. I don't know why that's coming through so strong. Like the message I just really like, I'm like, okay, it's like sitting back here and it's like, tell them. I was like, okay, I'll tell them. It's like I'm sure you guys have heard me say this before. It's not totally new, and it's not intended to be new. It's just like, like Roy's here. He was just on that call. If you do was just on that call, it's like I was just talking to them about like being wildly selfish about their healing work.
Asking people to be selfish about their healing work?
Inviting them to. I never ask people to do anything. Nothing is told here or have to. Everything is an invitation. Like, because there's a conditioning in our society to not think of ourselves that way. It's like morally, there's an objection to being selfish. But what I want to offer is like, as far as I could tell, most truths are A, simple, and B, paradoxical. Right? So it's like being selfish about your work is selfless response to what it offers humanity. Like the most selfish thing you could do, or the selfless thing you could do, is selfishly heal yourself, because it heals the collective. And I think most of us don't realize how much power we have and the influence we have energetically. And so I was talking to them about those things and like really giving them metaphors so that they can see that they've actually experienced this before. It's not new. And you actually have a frame of reference for this, whether it's when you were a child or elsewise, that this is how things work. And so like I was just offering, I'm like, yeah, there's like a lot to be afraid of on our planet right now. There's a lot of uncertainty on our planet for a long time, right? It's like we like to think of it like it's happening now, but like this crazy shit has been happening for like a few thousand years now, which in the grand scheme of things is not that long. And I want to offer, I also believe that we unconsciously agree to everything that happens on our planet. This is the school through which we've learned to learn so far. And I said there is a variety of people. Like some people can learn through subtlety. You tap them on the shoulder, they get the message. Other people need they need to be clobbered before they like get out of their slumber, And so to the degree of when you're looking at how do we create mass transformation, well, the masses are like kind of asleep at the wheel. And we seem to be, at least in this frame of reference and vibration that we're currently in, be like procrastinating pretty bad, or whatever. I don't know how you measure when we're supposed to stop procrastinating, but like there's a tendency towards procrastination. There's a tendency towards avoidance. Like I don't want to have that experience.
Yeah.
Okay. If you don't have that experience, it will be forced upon you.
Yeah.
Through the will of the collective, because we have to waken ourselves up at some level. So if you have, for example, money stuff going on currently, that's what you've unconsciously agreed to help you in your awakening process. It's not an unloving act. And that's kind of what I said behind it. I like, as far as all my investigations have pointed, is that the source of all things is an energy of love. So then tell me what on this planet that's happening right now has not been sourced from that love, and I can't find it. Now, you might have moral apprehension or moral objections to everything that you see and the narrative that's being perpetrated on our planet. Again, whether you believe that's happening on purpose or just happening, I don't know. Likely that's your your own musings on that front. But that's the point, is like, you want to see things get better in this world. I certainly do. And I was talking to them, I'm like, I know you're doing a mindset program. I'm like, but I want you to understand what's going on behind the scenes. Like, what is the big picture of everything that we do here? This is not just about you, although it really is just about you. It's like just making it just about you, just being so fucking committed to liberating and freeing yourself is what ultimately frees and liberates the entire consciousness of this entire species, of this entire planet. And that the universe is waiting to celebrate us, is celebrating us, right? This is our process. It's ugly.
Oh,
It's terrifying. It's crazy. And when we were in the jungle, I'll share this because I don't know how to not share things ever, even as crazy as they sound. But like, one of the experiences I got to have was watching our planet birthing itself into a new consciousness, what felt like a fourth to fifth dimensional consciousness. And on the right hand side, so I kind of got this like zoomed out view of the universe, of our planet. It was very dark all around it, but there was like this beautiful blue, light blue, dark blue kind of light playing over here on this side. And then I could see this like wall of energy that our planet was coming through, and just the face of the planet had kind of moved through it. And over here was all this magenta color. Now I even know from my own studies that magenta purple is a very, very high level of consciousness and color. And what the planet was telling me, because I was speaking to the planet again, for those of you guys who've done
you understand
medicine, this makes more sense. But for those of you who if not, this just sounds like guy's lost his fucking mind. My mind feels never more found than when I have these experiences, to be honest, because what I realize is how multidimensional we are, like how infinite our awareness is, and all the different places it can go, and how it can get information in so many different ways than what we've been taught to believe. And this shouldn't be that foreign, because this is how spirituality, religion, philosophy, we're all deduced. That's how all these things came into our culture. But the planet was saying to me in this vision that she is currently in like a late stage pregnancy. And she's like tired because so much resource has to go towards this process. And she said, just think about what it's like for a woman when she's in 7th, 8th, 9th month of her pregnancy, like how she's exhausted. And, again, so much is going to the child. Now there's a certain way that mother needs to be held so that she feels safe going through that process. And I've been at both live births for both my children. My wife did both her births without, not in the hospital, and totally natural at home. So I've seen it done as nature intended. And I could tell you how beautiful and crazy it all is, right? And I'm sure for those of you guys who've been even in a hospital setting, it's like, it's terrifying, it's exciting, you want to see what's going to happen next, and like, can't wait to see the face, and but it's all the fear and the worry and all the stuff that comes right along with it. It's like just this wild conglomeration of emotion and sensation.
It's also like, especially in the first one, it's so you don't know what to expect. On the second one, you also don't know what to expect. But
yeah,
the first one is like, what?
Yeah,
what are we doing here?
It's a thing. It's a thing, right? And so the planet was saying, she's like, that's what I need. She's like, I need humanity to show up for this event, like a man shows up for, or let me say this, a primary spouse would show up for someone giving birth, a woman giving birth. Like that's how the end. What would best serve is just holding consciousness, holding the field, holding presence with me as I go through that process, because I need support. I need that help. And I was like, that kind of makes sense. So she's like, all the anarchy, all the weather, like all that kind of stuff, that's all part of the course because of how much energy is going to this one celestial cosmic event that's arising and that we're part of, which is this mega transition and energy. And this is true in numerology and astrology. Like, for those of you guys who don't know, like, we've left the age of Pisces, where we've entered the age of Aquarius. I just learned this. The age of Pisces was the energy about it was that religion had all the power in the age of Pisces. And the age of Aquarius, it's not that religion doesn't exist, but it loses its dominance and power, which is, again, all these kind of transitions that we're seeing.
Humans become
like self-reflective spiritual entities, right? And again, like personal development industry, spiritual teachings of the past, plant medicines, like all this stuff is like literally seeping into our, into the airwaves, into the consciousness. And there's a channel that we follow, and he says there's no inventions, there's just intervention. Right? It's like everything is intervening. So when you look at, for example, like when a certain technology comes online, radio, the airplane, Bannister breaking the 4-minute mile, like all these, kind of hallmark moments in humanity. When that happens, within usually days or weeks, that same event happens on somewhere else on the planet, meaning it was about to happen elsewhere. That just happened to be the first recorded one. Within 2 weeks of the Wright brothers developing an airplane, they figured out how to do it in France just the same way. Bruce Bannister ran the 4-minute mile. Up until then, people thought if that ever happened, the body would explode into pieces because you would run too fast. A year later, a 12-year-old Australian boy was doing it. Like that's what happens with consciousness. That's what happens with this awareness. And so it's like we're all these antennas running around, picking up on certain parts of the field that are broadcasting into our consciousness. And then some of us have the the courage to say the crazy shit that's being broadcast to us, and those people often change the world. Einstein, go read about how he had those thoughts. These are channeled experiences. The books that have permeated the culture, Harry Potter, channeled. Hunger Games, channeled. Just came to them suddenly out of the blue, as if intervention, right? As if an intervention happened. So it's like, are you having thoughts, or are you just aligning your frequency to be able to hear what has always wanted to come through you? And maybe sharing that thing that's coming through you is really important. This is what comes through me and Elon, is these teachings. And teachings and teachers keep coming to us in order to teach us so that we can teach you.
Yeah.
And it never stops in our life. Like there's always somebody coming into our lives and like, here you go, and this thing and this practice, and you want to do this, and we're like, yeah, sure, And I've met other people like this, and that's what these nodes in the circuit are doing.
Can I add something?
Please, yeah, go ahead.
I just wanted to say that the thing that I think, I don't think that we are gifted in any particular way. I don't think that we are special in any particular way. I think Guy and I, early on in our lives, kind of raised our hands and we're like, this is what we want to do. We didn't know how, we didn't know what it was going to look like, but I distinctly remember being in a weekend course for the first time in my life. And at the end, they're like, create this grand possibility for your life. And I was like, I want to do what these people are doing. Like, I want to lead rooms and I want to change people's lives. At the time, I was in commercial real estate and, doing very well financially, blah, blah, blah. Like, I didn't really need another career or anything like that. And something like my heart and all these past experiences I kept seeing, I was like, oh my God, this is what I'm meant to be doing. And again, I didn't know how, what, like none of it. It was literally like my first month in personal development. Actually, no, this was my first weekend in personal development. The thing that I think sets us apart is this, and it's very simple. Like, what I'm going to say is very simple, and I have witnessed how difficult it is for people to act upon. So we are all receiving these messages constantly. Now, some of us, our hearing for them is blocked off. Others, it's just, you don't really hear it so much anymore like you used to, but you don't. And the thing that I think keeps it alive and actually enhances it is what you do with that information. Mm-hmm. If something comes through and you don't act upon it, and by that, I mean, like, you don't share it with the person that it was guided for you to share it with, you don't take action in that way, then guess what? There's this like pipeline that wants to come through you at all times. It wants to come through all of us. Where energy can flow is where it goes. So if you are not acting upon the information, if you think that it sounds crazy and you don't take action, or you dismiss it as nonsense or some crazy idea that you may have had, then every time you do that, you're like literally diminishing the connection that you have to this source. Guy and I mean, it took us many, 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 many years to get to where we are today. we're at a place right now that when spirit, God, universe, whatever communicates with us, and we've created an ability to sit in that silence and receive that information. Like that's one of the greatest things that we've cultivated and give our clients the ability to cultivate. Like I'm not interested in you getting my wisdom or Guy's wisdom. Like it's fucking irrelevant. I don't give a shit. I'm not that smart. But there is wisdom that is meant specifically for you. There is guidance and intuition that is meant specifically for you. And if we, Satori Prime, this community, the coaches, etc., can show you practices that help you tap into this energy, to this source, so that it can guide and provide for you and your children and your spouse and whatever else in your life, that I will do till my dying breath. Because the more people we plug into this infinite source, that's how I believe we're going to transform this planet. Because when we can step out of our own individual bullshit nonsense and tap into that, the stuff that comes through is at times, I'm going to tell you, crazy. It doesn't make any sense. It does, like if you mapped it out and looked at it logically and all that stuff, it doesn't make sense. Well, what I found is that if you listen and you act upon, more messages come. They become clearer, cleaner, quicker. And as long as you are like, I'm a player, you just keep sending. I'm a player, you just keep sending. And you move with that, it will lay the breadcrumbs for the greatest life that you will ever live. And that's not to say that what it's going to guide you to is not going to scare the crap out of you every once in a while. Because what your soul desires could be vastly different than what your human and the mind, the ordinary mind desires. Your ordinary mind is programmed for one thing. It wants like the illusion of safety. It wants comfort. That's it. It wants you to be alive. That's it. But when it comes to purpose, fulfillment, love, peace, well-being, it doesn't even have those programs. So just get that for a second. It doesn't have those programs. But where do you keep going for answers? What should I do next? What's next for me? Should I do this? Should I not do this? Should I go into this relationship? Should I not? Should I get this job? Should I not? Where do you go for those answers? If you're like 99% of humans, you go right up here and you create your pros and cons list. And again, I'm going to repeat, this has no interest and no computing skills for love, for fulfillment, for purpose, for peace, for well-being, for support, for connection. None, zero, literally no pathways. And you keep going to ask this. And then you wonder why your life looks the way it does. Now, I'm not saying the heart won't lead you to things that are challenging or even scary at times. The level of fulfillment and purpose and peace and love and connection, those are the languages of this thing. Like that's all this wants. It doesn't care about the trials and challenges that you are going to meet along the way because it knows that every step in that direction chips away the things that are not actually you, lets them go, and allows you, the real you, to exist here on this planet at this time. We're all going to go back there and shine like beautiful lights. Trust me, like we're going back there. In this moment, Can you bring more of that light through? And this is actually inhibiting your ability to do that. That's why I say to people, like, if you're only doing the growing up work, as amazing as that mindset stuff is, it's like doing half of the work. It's like you eat the right foods, but you don't exercise.
Mm-hmm.
Or vice versa, right? Like people work out, but don't eat the right foods. It's like both and, not this or, and this and that. You do this and that, and your life will never be the same.
Any questions?
Can I just say something to Ash specifically? Ash,
Absolutely.
I saw your post, and she said, "I'm realizing I'm going through a sort of depression for the first time in my life, and it's related directly to my grandmother's passing in April. And I knew it'd be hard, but I'm crying daily and have been procrastinating and everything." So, Ash, I just want to offer you that the ability that you have to allow for the crying, to allow for the grief, to allow for the slowing down. See if you can find the gift in that. And I say that because people that do not give themselves this space and time to grieve, loss is real, like loss of loved ones. And I say this all the time. It's like the more painful the loss of someone, the greater that the love and connection of that relationship actually was in your life. Because there's plenty of people that come and go in our lives, right? Like it doesn't even, like, you're like, right? The depth that we can feel, the pain, the hurt, the grief, the despair, the longing, to me is equal in the world of love and connection that we had with that person. So I just want to honor that your system is allowing for and giving you the ability to release and process all this stuff. Because what most people do is they suck it down, they bury it deep, deep inside. And yeah, you were saying she raised me after my mom died when I was 10. So like, yeah. So it's not just a grandma. It's like a mom figure.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I'm not saying it's supposed to anything, but like it would be weird if it didn't hurt, if you didn't cry. To me, like healthy way of being with all of this is allowing yourself and your system to go through all the cycle of the emotion. And there could be sadness, there could be rage, there could be upset, there could be, complete and utter, like I melted into a couch or a bed and I can't move. Like all of that I want to name is absolutely the process. And so if you could just even find gratitude for the ability that you have created that is allowing for all of this stuff to come up, because left inside, that's the stuff that creates dis-ease in our body. That's the stuff that 5 years, 10 years down the road, you go to a doctor and they give you a very not nice
piece of news.
Yeah. Right. So I really want to honor and hold your tender heart as you go through this. And I'm sure there's other people here also going through this as well. Yeah. So just wanted to name that as well.
Ian was saying this is, just take us out of this. Oops. This is very interesting as I am on exactly this cycle. Going around and throwing out to the tornado of ideas and doing things to find and live my purpose. Yeah. And Ash was saying, people keep telling me this is lasting too long. Thank you for validating what I'm experiencing. I mean, what's the right time to grieve?
Yeah.
You know, what's the right time? There's, people who lose children. It's like, what's the right time to grieve the loss of a child? You're supposed to get out of that in 30 days? Like, are you fucking kidding me? You'll grieve that the rest of your life. And then as far as like purpose is concerned, I get a little upset about programs that tell you that they're going to help you find their purpose, right? Because that is to say, as if there is a single purpose, and perhaps there is. Like Elon and I live lives that feel very on purpose. I feel in my teenage years, I remember thinking I was depressed, angry, suicidal, and what I thought to myself that whole time was, I'm a person without purpose. I'm a person without place. I have nowhere to put my energy. And I felt like this ocean of potential that was going absolutely nowhere. And then I think like, finding purpose is like finding a lover or like a person you're going to marry. It's a spontaneous event. And when you know it, and when you find it, sometimes it hits you over the head and you're like, this is it. And sometimes it takes some time. Like I started doing developmental work when I was 19 years old. I'm 40 years old now, right? 21 years on. And at the time when I found it, I was in love with it immediately, but had no idea that it had any place in my life or what I was going to do with my life. And I did developmental work for years and volunteered my time for coaching for 12 years, basically, without once thinking, oh, this is my purpose or this is what I'm going to do with my life. That came much later on as Elon and I kind of started progressing in business and realizing that there was some utility to what we were learning, because up until then it was like, how do we help ourselves? How do we help other people? And that just kind of parlays here a little bit what I want to share with you guys, what we want to share with you guys. I'll put it on the screen and then give some context. We've never done what we're doing right now before. This is not a marketing trick. It's not a sales tactic, although it makes sales and it's good marketing. We're offering our level 1 coaching program for the first time for what we think is an ungodly low amount of money. Okay, just so you guys have some context for this. Up until a week ago, this program was being sold anywhere for between $2,497 and $2,997. Okay, we're offering the same program. There are a few caveats here. People who signed up at the high rate, we're getting lifetime access to group coaching, and we're also getting $1,500 credit towards more advanced programs that we offer. That's not offered here. There is a limited window for the coaching of 6 months, and we don't offer any credits towards future programs if you do join them. But what we're getting clear on is that we're sharing a really important message. Anybody who's been around this work, feel free if you want to chat in the chat boxes. Like, here's the reality. 99% of people, I never want to say 100% of people who do this work have mega shifts in their lives. That's just what's up. Life-altering things happen with the technology that Elon and I are offering here. It took us 20 years to figure out most of the stuff that we share with you guys, and a small fortune, right?
Not that small.
Not a small. I was going to say not a small fortune to discover a lot of things that ultimately, when we look back at what actually worked and what's made headway. I mean, everything has an impact, at some level, but there's a lot of like exercises and things I've done throughout the year. I'm like, there's no real impact on my life. It was like a cool thing I tried, but there are fundamentally certain principles that we've learned over the years that without a doubt, when applied, life transforms. That's what we teach here. We used to have a saying here that, it was even the name of our podcast, used to be called Personal Development Without the Fluff. And the reason we said that is because we took away all the stuff that sounds really, really good when you talk about it on video, but makes no fucking difference for anybody when they try it. We remove the fluff. We're like, this is what works to develop yourself. So we're offering this program at $497. That's a sixth of the price that we were just charging a week ago. Okay. It is a Black Friday special. And I'm telling you again, this is true. We don't know how long this is going to stay around. This may be in perpetuity. This may be another week. We don't know, because the truth be told is, I'm going to be super straight with you guys, we don't know that we can run our company on the amount of money that we're asking for this program. Like, we don't know if we could actually keep this company alive. So we're going to see what this generates, because we still operate a business and it still needs money to pay our employees, for Elon and I to live, breathe, shelter, and food, right? And for us to be able to market this company so that we can grow what we're doing here on a regular basis, which is no small expense. So we're going to give this a try and see what happens here. But our intention has always been to get this work in the hands of as many people as possible. And what we're seeing is that we are in some pretty uncertain times where people feel pretty uncertain about their wealth, uncertain about their futures, stuff like that. And so we're going to give this a shot for a period of time and see what happens when we offer it at this price point. And we're going to open the doors to our community in a way we never have. And we're going to see what happens when, potentially 1,000 or 5,000 people come into this community. And again, I don't know that that's going to be the price point, but we're going to try and we're going to feel into it and see what happens. But that was the message that we were given. So we're following the flow in the same way Elon said, and it scares us and excites us and does all the things simultaneously. And for us, it's like, as a buy-in to our community and the type of support and technology and work that we offer here, is this is the opportunity of a lifetime. I'm telling you right now. Opportunity of a lifetime. So if you've been at YesStar programs, but they felt out of reach financially, hopefully this eliminates that barrier and go. And we've had a lot of people take this offer already. So I'm telling you, go for it. Like, for no other reason, again, than to selfishly heal yourself. And like, we're all heading towards a new year, renewal, all that kind of stuff. Like, it's the right time. Simone is asking, are we planning to do something similar with L2? Maybe.
No, we are. So let me just.
Yeah, I guess you can speak to it more than I can.
Yeah. So look, again, we're talking about like being guided, right? Guy and I went to the jungle, and both of us separately. So like, we're each having our own experience, and both of us separately were told by Spirit that it's time to lower our prices, which doesn't make sense, right? Like, you're a business, you've built a credibility, like usually prices go up. And she was very clear. She was like, the message she sent me was like, lower your pricing to 2020 prices. So 3 years ago pricing. And so I tell Guy this idea, and I was like, listen, I don't know why she said this thing. Like, again, right? My mind, my ordinary mind is going, this is crazy. This is going to bankrupt us. This is going to like destroy the company. And like, why were we going backwards? And she was very clear. She was like, lower, 2020, give. She was like, give them, give. And I was like, okay. So I shared this with Guy, and he's like, it's really funny that you say that, because I also received a very similar message from her. So we sat and we're like, okay, what does this get to look like? So for level 2 and level 3, in addition to the outrageous offer for level 1, we're lowering our prices to 2020 prices. Mm-hmm. So, it's anywhere between, like, I did the numbers, it's anywhere between 30 to 40% less than what it has been currently. Okay. Which is huge when you're talking about multi-$1,000 programs. So if you've been on the sidelines, if you and I have spoken, if you have been looking at level 2 and level 3, our next level 2 program is scheduled to start like either right before Thanksgiving or right after Thanksgiving. We're going to kind of see after the live event this weekend. But let's call it sometime in the next 30 days, that next level 2 program is starting. So if you want to give yourself the gift that keeps on giving, heading into the end of this year and beginning of next, then reach out to me, reach out to Corey, reach out to Tobias, reach out to whoever you spoke to. And and we'll be in touch, and I can give you like the new pricing and what that would look like. Remember, like level 2, we only run probably like once a quarter thereabouts. So if you don't get into November, probably the next one won't be till February, let's say. Right. So we're definitely doing that as well.
Yeah. Yeah. So we're shifting, and we're gonna, like I said, we're gonna see our intention. Typically we've supported like a few hundred people a year. Our intention going into next year is that thousands of people will be doing this work. Like we have a pretty lofty goal of having at least 10,000 people registered for this work and enrolled in this community within the next 12 months. So that's why we're kind of lowering the threshold for entry right now. And again, we're going to see what that looks like when we create a swell of energy and we have a lot of people simultaneously doing this work, creating support for one another. And so, like, for those of you guys who've been around a community for a while, like hopefully that excites you, because like you guys are kind of the pillars of this community, and you've helped us establish this feeling that like we really can support a lot more people with this work, and the work is really as profound as we intended it to be. And that's the cool part about having digital programs, is we can distribute widely without Elon and I having to give up every part of our lives to do that. So it's really cool. We're pretty excited about what's happening right now. And if you want to share this with anyone in your life, you've done this work before, like now is the time. It's also good to know if you enroll in the promotion that's available, this $497, it also comes with a ticket to our Intuitive Mind event and a companion ticket for a person that you want to bring with you, which just so you guys understand, we've sold Intuitive Mind now for years at $444 just for a 2-day intensive. That comes with this $497 included. This comes with 6 months of supportive coaching. Again, if you don't know this, we don't offer just 4 calls a month now for live coaching. We offer 6. Okay, so it's for $497. I don't know what the math is. I think Elon's probably done it at some point because he likes to do these things. You get 36 live group coaching calls for $497.
Yeah, it's less than $14 for a group coaching call, which is
it's insane.
It's absurd.
Yeah, it's insane. So again, we'll see. Right? We're going to see if that feels good, and if it is, that'll be part of the course and continue. If it really doesn't work for us and to keep this machine moving, then we will have to change that soon. So you guys will your feedback is really important to us at this point in time, and part of that feedback is just seeing that people are taking it in hordes. If we see that, then great, we'll figure out the rest of the stuff and how to make our finances work. And at the end of the day, we want to grow the community, grow the mission, put this stuff in as many people's hands as physically possible. So hopefully that's exciting for you, and we look forward to seeing a bunch of you guys in the level 1 work. And yeah, we'll
level 2 or 3.
By the way, excited about it. Mm-hmm.
Someone asked me earlier today, like level 1, level 2, level 3, and we call it the Awareness Effect Academy, right? And that's because on our journey with awareness, we've kind of seen that there's like 3. There is a 4th, but we leave that off for later. Like there's 3 major transitional phases through the process that one must be proficient at before moving to the next, right? And it's something that's been taking us, like we've been on this path for 8 years, and we've mapped this out. And so what we take is, instead of you having to spend 8 years and however much money I've spent on this path of, $400,000, $500,000, we can really abbreviate that for people. And so step 1 is the ability for awareness to be present to its stuckness in ordinary mind, right? So like when most people meet us, it's firmly stuck here. And that's why personal development and mindset work really, really works, because your awareness is literally stuck in this part. And so it is consuming information from here. And by the way, guess who's really psyched about that?
Mm-hmm.
Your mind. Because if the mind can keep your awareness locked in here, it is happy as a pig in shit. Because it knows, like, as long as it can hold you here, it controls and dictates your life. Because if awareness is here, then your 5 senses are the ones that give you the precepts of reality, paint your reality a certain way. And so, yes, could you like move and shift certain things? Yes. And it's still through this very restricted paradigm. Okay. So in level 1, the practice is to help you shift awareness from ordinary mind out. Now, in the beginning, what happens is this: you go out You taste that for a few seconds and it flicks back. Then it takes you a while to go, oh, wait, awareness is back here. And it takes you a while to like shift out. At the end of level 1, you will be able to like snap your fingers and have awareness be out. And then when it comes back here, you'll notice it really fast and then you'll be out, right? So that's level 1 of awareness. Now, once you become proficient at that dance, now we're like, okay, you've gotten this. Now let's move awareness from spaciousness and into body. And this is where your actual work begins. So Michael Singer calls it the seat of awareness. And people spend decades finding the seat of awareness. And he's like, congratulations, now your work can begin. He's like, finding the seat of awareness is like finding the directions to your office. Once you find it, now the work begins. It's not like, oh, I found it, it's over. No. So again, at level 2, what's going to toggle is it's going to go awareness here, awareness out, awareness here, awareness up, awareness out, awareness here, right? You're going to toggle that. Eventually, so we spent 3.5 months working with you so that you can have awareness stay in body. Now, this part is all about you. Me for 3.5 months. You are going to understand me at a level that you've never understood me before. And why? A, for the healing and all that. But B, when you continue on to the next level of awareness, it's once you know the signature of me, once you know the resonance and signature of that, now awareness can actually feel and track others. So you can actually, like, awareness can stay here and out here. So you can now begin to feel and track others. And this is really what I tell people. It's like, this is now becoming more the practitioner side of things. So level 2 is more like the me. I practice for me. Level 3, it's like, I really want to enhance this aspect, right? Because once you find me, like, awareness just gets very curious. And so then we spend 9 months doing that work where it's like, can you be here and here? Here and hold spaciousness. And now we're creating this simultaneous awareness. And that is the 3rd level of awareness. So when you're working through the Awareness Effect Academy, like, where every level that you are working at and becoming masterful at, I want you to get is like building the rung, if you will, to get to that next level. And that's why we've designed it this way. So like at level 2 and level 3, you work with a one-on-one coach, right? And the reason that is because, like, you need that new template to provide you that newness, because when awareness is in the body, it doesn't like it at the beginning. It's like it hits certain things and it feels uncomfortable. And so when we can borrow, and this is like cutting edge science is tracking this right now, when you sit with a practitioner who's cultivated these and stabilized these frequencies, right? Like the frequency of safety and support and stability and well-being, it actually allows you to borrow that when you sit with them. And that allows you to go in and touch those aspects that have been closed off from you, right? Because the mind has been seeing them and trying to understand how to move them or shift them or change them. And as you've seen, that doesn't work at all. So when you can bring safety into your system, that's what actually allows for the energy to move. Because right now, the mind thinks that if it moves, you die. I really want to emphasize that. Like, it actually thinks that if this thing gets unlocked, you're going to die. Now, you tell me, is the mind going to let you have access to move that thing if that's really what it feels? So that's the practice, right? It's like understanding me, having the ability to witness me from in here, and then shifting out there. So I hope that makes sense, because I've had many people just recently ask me, like what's the distinction between this, and this. So hopefully that gives you guys some clarity.
Yeah, that's great. So I think we'll start wrapping it up there, but obviously wanted to make you guys aware of that. For those of you guys who are, ready to take that next step and jump into some really awesome training. And, I'll just leave it with this. It's like, and I said this to the L1s, like, I wish it was different to some degree, but like, we've just never seen people sustainably transform or heal their life without support.
Yeah.
Doesn't happen. Like Elon and I've tried, reading the books, watching the videos, like, so I said, you can go do that. It's going to make you very intelligent. You'll pick up a lot of cues and you'll sound really good 5 years from now, but like you will have made very little progress in your personal transformation or healing. Like that's just the reality. You can test that theory if you like. I guess we'll see you in a few years. So you can take my word for it or not, but like there's something kind of inherently beautiful about finding out that we need each other for this healing process, for this transformational process to take hold on our planet. Like we all got to do it together as a family. Like that's the reality. Like we're not separate entities. Like there are three things that a human being has to have. I think these are the three. They need food, they need shelter, and they need connection. And we learn through connection. And so we transform through connection. We are social creatures. There's a reason the worst thing you can do to a human being is isolate them from connection. It makes us crazy. It makes us sociopathic. It makes us lots of different crazy, different distinctions that we get in psychiatry. And so like understanding that is a huge aspect of why we do what we do. We have invested a lot over the last 5 years in creating systems for community to step into where people can support each other through these processes. You are going to have low points. You are going to have challenges that you don't know what to do with. You are going to feel things in your body when you begin allowing them that are foreign and that you want to avoid. And the way that we repair that and work with that is by sitting with other people and getting support. When I'm out of alignment, speak for me. When I'm out of alignment, when I'm under-resourced, I cannot do it on my own. And in learning to receive support from other people is also how we learn to receive support from the resource that's all around us, from God or spirit or universe, or call it whatever you want to call it. If you want that stuff to work with you, it is predicated on opening your belief and channels around support. Nature is oriented around support. Okay? It's oriented around us working with each other through cooperation. And so like a peaceful planet is a cooperative planet. It's a planet where we recognize the value of the individual, the influence that the individual has, and then how that inserts itself and changes the collective. So that's why we do what we do here. You guys can certainly enjoy MMI. It's a great program, like life-changing program. It really is. But what we know about that program also, and that's why we price it as low as we do for those of you guys who are just in that work, is because we also understand that we need to show you what we got and prove the value of this work to you, so that you can go look at other stuff, because it's very hard to just say to somebody, hey, we can help you transform your life in a few days or a few weeks, and have them actually believe that that's true, because that's not what we've seen in our as lived reality. So we're saying something that to most people, they don't have any frame of reference for. But hear my words. You can do our digital programs. You're gonna make headway without a doubt. You're gonna transform something. You're gonna have insights that are gonna allow you to transform your life. You're gonna have tools, way to think about things, way to perceive things that are gonna transform your life. However, you're gonna be moving at a snail's pace.
Yeah. And for some of you, that's okay. Like some of you are like, that's my pace.
That's totally fine. Yeah, and that's totally fine. That's what I'm saying. This is not about convincing you. It's about feeling into what's important for you with where you are right now and what your desires are. Without support, I don't know where I would be in my life. So for Elon and me, it's insane not to have a teacher, a coach, a mentor, somatic healers. Like I'm going to go to one today at 4 p.m. We do weekly sits with people. Like there's so many things that we do to align and support our system on a regular basis, because we have a world that creates a lot of fear and instability in our system and dysregulation for our nervous system. And so the more you can train the system towards regulation, the easier everything in life gets. The easier relationships get, the easier stuff around money gets, the easier stuff around business get, the easier stuff gets around health. It's just like a regulated system is a system that's open, and available for all these things, not just physical and emotional things, but spiritual things as well. So I just wanted to insert that in there for you guys as to, you know, why the structures are built the way that they are. They were very mindfully built this way with support and community in mind. Okay, and the further up the ladder you go, the more support we can offer you. But again, you know, be mindful that at the price points that we're now offering this program at, what we can offer is live group coaching. You know, it would be insane to offer one-on-one coaching at that kind of price. So just bear that in mind. All right. All right, guys. Well, we love you very much. Thank you for being here today. Look forward to inviting a bunch of you guys into the L1 program. Again, please feel free to share that with the people in your life if you've wanted them to do this work alongside of you in parallel with you, if you want them to have a taste of their own. Again, the level 1 does come with Intuitive Mind. That's coming up here in just a few days on November 11th and 12th. So they can like dive in and have like a deep dive experience with us and the community. Yeah, right away, if that's what you choose. Otherwise, you know, maybe this is the best holiday gift of all time, right? Like Elon said, there's very few things that I've ever invested in my life that continue to add value, increasingly so over time. That's what spiritual healing developmental work does. It's a growing thing that only gives back more the longer you do it and the more you're in it, right? Like if I buy a pair of jeans for $500 or anything else for, you know, $500, it's going to depreciate in value and price over time. It's the only thing that appreciates in value, surely, unless you bought crypto when it was $13. Yeah. So we love you all. Thank you for being here, and we will see you next time. Take care.
Bye, everybody.